Hey guys, welcome to Hope Ignited. Hey, I am here by myself today, but I just felt like it was really important to film a quick intro for this amazing episode that we're going to drop with Rollertown. You know, Ben and Skin are no stranger to the DFW sports world, and it was a huge honor to be able to spend time with them right here at the Hope Ignited table. It was also wonderful to be able to spend time with my good friend, Jonathan Rogers. Shout out to the Frisco Chamber of Commerce for our amazing introduction. We're so excited about all that's to come with NBCF and Rollertown, and I'm honored that you guys are going to have an opportunity to hear about Ben and Skin, kind of the origin of their friendship, their radio show, and all the amazing things they've done for the Metroplex. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Enjoy this episode with Rollertown and Ben and Skin. All right, you guys, welcome to Hope Ignited. What a full studio we have today.
We can't even fit them all in. I wish we could whip the camera and you could see everyone who's in here today. This is pretty
live
crazy.
Studio audience.
By the way, audience, you can be loud, you can clap and all that. So feel free, go ahead.
Well, actually,
yeah. All right.
Now we have to pay them money because they
Yeah, we do.
clapped.
They're extras. They got SAG credits
Laugh
now.
tracks. Yeah, I'm already sweating though. It's very hot in here.
Yeah.
I shaved my legs for this. We're not even getting my legs
So did
in the
I.
shot. You did?
Yeah.
Do you grow hair on your legs? I've actually always wondered that about you. I feel like you're not a hairy person.
When I'm not in swimming season.
You're not.
No.
This
when I
is
want the
weird.
fractions of a hundredths of a second. No. Yeah. Shave my legs? No way. Never.
I want to see how you're going to segue
I don't
this.
grow a lot of hair though.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like
kind of
I feel
a
like
hairless guy. Like honestly.
You're like the cat in
It's
Austin
not.
Powers.
It's nice, but also I've had this complex about it my whole life. You know, like I feel like, and especially we're in the age of the beard. Our guest today, when we were over at their business establishment, I feel like every dude there had hair on his face. Right.
We're going to talk
And
about a bearded lady today.
I couldn't even work there.
Welcome
even the
to
women
the
have
Hope
beards.
Ignited show with my friend Powder.
Yeah, Powder. Hi, everyone. Hey, we got a big one today. This is great. We're really excited to be welcoming our guests here today.
Yeah.
Ben and Skin.
From the Ben and Skin show. We're so happy to have you guys.
Hello.
Ben and Skin.
Hello.
I want to tell y'all something, and I intentionally have not talked to y'all about this, but I have this photo that I will show you after the show. We'll put it up here. But in 2011, I stood in line for hours and hours and hours back whenever it was Mike Madonna's celebrity softball tournament. Do you guys remember this at Rough Riders?
The Heroes game, sure.
Yep. And it was before Dark had it. And it was crazy because Kid Craddock was there at that time, I think. I feel like maybe that was his last year to do it. But I showed up for y'all.
What?
And I have these photos of, and I was about to start working for Donnie. I wasn't working for Donnie at the time. Donnie, we miss you. Where's Donnie? Where's
Donnie Nelson.
But it was just incredible. And I talked about that a little bit this morning. I previewed that on social media, that it's just such a wild moment. And it's just so fun to see it come full circle. So thank you guys for being here.
How disappointing was the experience for you when you finally...
It was more of y'all's first pitch that was disappointing, less of like meeting you. It was more of the athletic skill. But we're happy you guys are here. We know how busy you are. And I just want to know, let's start from the beginning. Do you want me to drop a beat for y'all to rap together right now? Like,
That's actually the last thing I would like to happen right at this
I'm
exact
just
moment.
saying.
You haven't warmed up your vocal cords yet, right?
Y'all
Right.
known each other for a long time.
Yes,
Take us back to the beginning.
you go.
So we met when we were 12 years old at Huff Hines Recreation Center in Richardson, Texas. We were about to be going to different middle schools. Our middle schools in Richardson were 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And so we were 6th graders getting ready to go into 7th to middle school, but we weren't even going to the same middle school. We eventually went to the same high school, Berkner High School.
Okay.
But we just met playing basketball. We loved playing basketball. We were a part of a friend group that had 8 or 10 guys and a couple, 3 from one middle school, 3 from another, whatever. And we got to be friends, and we've gone on so many incredible adventures. We used to do sleepovers and sneak out, and stuff like that, like
In our late 20s.
and early 30s.
Yeah.
We've kind of done life together in a lot of ways.
Yeah. How did you know you were good at talking?
Man, I knew he was good at talking from the jump.
Yeah.
From the jump.
My parents would tell me this weird story of we were on a big family vacation, and I don't know how old I was at the time. I think I was 5 or 6, and I had disappeared, and it was a road trip, and they were like at a gas station, and they were worried about me. They didn't know where I was, and they found me. I was talking to a limo driver. and they go, oh my God, here he is. And they're like, what happened? He goes, this kid was asking me how much money I make, if I've ever had anyone famous in the car. We were just having a great conversation.
Stop.
And I was just I don't know how old I was, but I've always liked people and I like talking to people.
There were no windows on the limo. Andy offered you candy, but here you are.
Going back, you mentioned 2011 when at that time we were at ESPN, and there was a big stretch. There was about a 13-month stretch where the Rangers went to back-to-back World Series and the Mavericks, won the NBA Finals in between that. And we were traveling together all the time. And you know how like some people, in order to get good sleep, they'll tell, hey, Siri, turn on ocean sounds or whatever. One of the things I know that when I'm on an airplane that is very comforting to me is if I can sit there and somewhere in the airplane 5 or 6 rows away, I hear Ben telling his life story to a stranger. He meets people and connects with people immediately.
Yeah.
It's germane to who he is.
I've seen interviews where you've spoken, Skin, about how you attribute a lot of y'all's success to that very reason, right? That like you can talk people into anything. And I mean, it's easy to have faith in you when we know y'all. That's not a creepy statement. I mean, I genuinely think you're good. I think the reality of it is like, you know how good y'all are and nothing will stop you from that. But I want to talk about the rap group. I'm not letting you get away from that. I mean, at what age do you become, like Nelly? And I want to know that part of your story.
Nelly's path was way different than ours.
Fair. That's fair.
It was, the age we're at, we grew up with rap, right? We're the generation that grew up with rap. And specifically, he mentioned us meeting at the rec center. Their junior high that they went to, the rec center was next door. Okay. I lived on the other side of town, but that was the best place to go play basketball, right? So I would go there all the time, and that's how I got to know those guys that went to that junior high. But at that time period, if you were to go to basketball camp or be at a rec center, someone had a jam box playing rap. Like that was just there, and it was a part of basketball culture. So we very much grew up with it and felt comfortable with it. And I think the things that, people that looked like us that grew up in the suburbs might think you don't go into this world. We felt comfortable doing it very naively so. Yeah. Like not even intentionally thinking about what we were doing or why we were doing it. We just loved it and felt comfortable with it.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was very fun. Yeah. And so there was we used to rap together at parties and stuff, freestyle rap. It wasn't very good. But at one point, there were some dudes that actually had turntables that brought us over to their house. And we, this was probably junior year or something like that. So we were doing that, just kind of, unintentionally doing it, just feeling like, hey, this is something we should be doing. It got a little more serious when we were 19 or 20, somewhere in that time frame. And going back to what we were just talking about with Ben convinced his dad to buy a studio time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sick.
But it was
shocking.
It might have been shocking then. It's not shocking now.
Right.
In hindsight, looking back at things, because I think, what you're alluding to, he's very good at creating opportunities. Ben is at, finding that seam and going, all right, let's go talk to these people and let's, get them excited and get them interested. And that's, a big part of his skill set is creating opportunities for us.
Yeah. So we'll see you on the Grammys, or like what happened to the music career? I mean, we're here.
So he's still involved in the music business. He owns a record label and has put out records and is still incredibly successful in that space.
Success is relative.
That's fair. I think that's incredible. I think one of the things that we all unite on is sports, obviously, but music is a universal love language, right? In a lot of ways. I'm from Monroe, Louisiana, so I am from those places you're talking about. I was the problem and the chaos that you probably tried to avoid. So I feel like I've been the subject of a few rap songs in my day. What about you? You look like a big rapper.
I am. Yeah. By the way, I want to go back to. We're about the same age. I think I'm
35.
I'm 35.
Yeah.
I'm 36. So 47. So I was in the 90s. It was Dr. Dre and Snoop and all those guys. And in that culture, I play basketball too. Okay. Did y'all have those Reebok pump shoes?
I remember those.
Yeah. You remember those?
Yeah.
You literally, there was a basketball.
D Brown won the dunk contest by going down
and pumped up.
Cool.
Do that. And then the little release, you do that in your friend's ear. You dunk on them.
So you're a little bit younger than us. Do you remember when Clyde Drexler had the Ruse?
I don't remember that, but Clyde Drexler was my guy. There was a window of time, and I think it was when Portland, I don't know what year. This is when I'm talking to these sports guys, encyclopedias over here. You could probably tell me. But when Jordan and Clyde met, and it was up in the air on which one was better. Do you remember that? It was that one, and then he just...
You talking about like in the finals?
I don't know if it was in the finals when they're playing Portland, or I guess would have been finals.
One of the things that happened is that one of the reasons that Houston did not draft Olajuwon was because of the whole Clyde Drexler thing, right?
Yeah.
Like I might be getting those drafts mixed up, but Drexler went 13 or 14 to Portland. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's the reason Portland didn't draft Jordan. It's because they drafted Sam Bowie and then they.
Oh
had
yeah,
Clyde
yeah,
Drexler.
yeah.
So yeah, those guys, Drexler and Jordan, got compared a lot for that.
They did. There was that same style, the kind of the Clyde the Glide, but yeah, that was a golden age of basketball.
I want to put a pin in this, and I want to say this about the rap thing. So this was incredibly influential in our journey because it was the pursuit of a dream, and we failed. And at some point along the way, I was convinced that this was our ticket. This is how we were going to make it. Let's leave college. Let's put everything into this. And when you put every hope and dream and thought into the pursuit of something that you care about, and you fail, it's actually incredibly empowering. Because not only do we learn more from failure than we do from success, when you try to make something happen and you fail, you become bulletproof at trying to accomplish other things. And so, in the weird way in which life works, it's like, okay, so we didn't make it in rap, but we started making rap intros for Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket because we loved that station. We were listening and we were like, we can make better songs than they're making.
So good.
And we kind of used it as a way to wedge our foot in the door and kind of make a name for ourselves in that space. And so the way life works, you can never predict or anticipate it. We crashed and burned chasing this dream, but it literally opened up every other door along the way.
That's your God wink.
Yeah.
I
You know
believe in
what?
that.
Like that, I love that. The concept of go out and better yourself, pursue what you're interested in, your hobbies, because eventually it will find a way to merge and intersect with some other thing you're doing, especially with work, which is just amazing. So you guys, to your point, you could think that it was a dead end, but you were building up all these skills, and not only actually building up your rap skills, which I'm sure are profound, but actually performing, and doing business, trying to put something on the line. Like any kind of performance is putting yourself out there, right? I mean, like you're putting it out there, you're going to get criticism, people are going to rip on you, but speaking of that, you guys have been legends in this area, of course, in DFW, but abroad. Sports, there's so many things I would ask you about this, but the first thing I want to ask is, for each of you, what is your favorite sports memory that you've been a part of, like you've been witness to?
That's good.
I want you to go first because I think it's possible that I say the same thing, and I want to steal your thunder.
I bet it is the same thing. And that is first half of my junior year, the first year of the 3-point line, I hit 4 threes in the first
Stop
half
it.
against Garland High School.
That's right. That was it. It was
So
incredible.
like Steph at the end of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yes, obviously. No, I'm sure it's the same. It's, game 6 of the finals in 2011. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Skin is brilliant. The way his brain works, he reads something once.
I like this part of the show.
Yeah.
He
We're
will
gonna keep it
never
going.
forget it. Like he could have used, I mean, it's really, he could be a doctor or a lawyer. Or he just chose to pour that giant brain of his into music and pop culture and sports. And so that part of the story is very disappointing. But his dad was a basketball coach. And so he knows the game of basketball as well as anyone on the planet. And so, we talked about how we wedged our foot in the door, but he's the substance of all of this. Like he's as good as anyone in the country at what he does, and talking sports or basketball specifically. And so he ends up getting on the Mavs television broadcast while we're doing our radio show. And they decide that, hey, look, we want him to be here for our Mavs TV broadcast in the playoffs so much that we'll fly him on the team plane. And so he gets to fly in the team plane with the Mavs players and everything to all these playoff games. And then he's like, he tells them, the problem is I have this radio show, so I want to do it, but I have this radio show. And they're like, oh, bring the other guy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
It's the greatness of Cuban, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Other guy.
Yeah, there's
So-
space.
So I get to go. And so, we've been Maverick fans since I got here in 1980, diehard Maverick fans. And there we are on the team plane, going to all these games. We develop a great relationship with Dirk Nowitzki. And so when they won the championship in 2011 in Miami, we're there in team plane, team hotel, locker rooms. And so they won it all. And it's like waterworks, and but
Especially after the 2006
Yes.
punch to
Yeah.
the throat.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was the
we were-
worst
we were
feeling
still
ever.
on
It was
fire.
redemption
Yeah.
against those scumbag Miami Heat. Sorry, Miami listeners.
You're right.
This villainous.
That's
You're right.
actually what I was thinking
Hurts.
about when he was talking about, what you learned through failure.
Yeah.
What they went through 2006 is a preamble to 2011.
Yep.
a lot.
Yeah, because you're going to have crooked refs who put Dwayne Wade on the line in life,
In life,
as a
right.
metaphor.
So exactly
They put him
right.
on every time that he breathes or moves in the general direction of a Maverick.
So bitter.
Right?
But so we're in Miami, and the post game celebration ends, and we have to do a morning show, and it's earlier because it's East Coast, and Skin says, well, if they reach out to us, invite us to the championship celebration, we should go, but only if they invite us and we find out where it is, and so they probably won't. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to bed. And when I woke up in the middle of the night, and I had missed like 37 calls. And that's what a good partner he is. And so they had reached out and they said, hey, Skin, if you guys want to come to the celebration, here's where it's going to be. Come on. And he would not let me stay asleep. And he stayed after me until I woke up and went and met them. And so there's this picture that went viral of a celebration of Dirk. I think it was a $90,000 bottle of champagne.
The big old
Yes.
champagne
giant-
bottle.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture?
Yes.
He took it.
Maybe we can. What?
He's
okay,
the one who
we're
took
going to
the-
put it up. We're going to put it up.
Royalties.
We're putting it on the screen.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Incredible.
20
We have
bucks
rights. We have
per
rights.
photo
No, I own
you
this thing.
sent.
You can-
That's
Okay,
so
all right.
great.
But the funny part of that whole
He's like,
thing,
like $500 licensing after the show's over.
the funny part of all that is that's like when Deadspin was really kind
Yeah.
of growing.
Yeah.
And so that's the early days of Twitter. Like, Ben and I very much believe that 13-month period was where we sort of built our career because that was the advent of Twitter.
Yeah.
And so we were on the road and we were utilizing Twitter to share our experiences and build up this following because everyone was interested in what was happening in sports.
Yeah.
And we were providing something that others didn't have access to, right? So we really grew at that time period. So at that celebration in Miami, I was just taking pictures and throwing it up on Twitter. Well, when we got to the radio station we were broadcasting from in Miami, we hadn't slept. We were drunk, right? I opened my laptop and I pull up Deadspin, and the picture I had taken like 4 hours previously is on Deadspin.
So
I went,
sick.
wait, can you do that? How did that happen?
Right.
And, immediately like reach out like, hey, at least give me credit for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You can't just
Yeah.
take my stuff,
Did
man.
they give you credit post facto?
It was funny. My brother-in-law is a lawyer, and he had represented Deadspin in a case. So I
Yeah.
texted him and said, "Who am I supposed to?"
Smart.
And so he
man,
got
that's
and-
good.
Yeah, but it was just that was pretty wild, wild west.
That
social
experience.
media
So, I mean,
time.
like, two reasons what I'm hearing here. One is just as Mavericks fans, mind blowing experience to be a part of that live. But then, secondly, this explosion happening in your career. I
Yeah.
mean, like that, that period of time when you said when social media, all of a sudden it was all of these celebrities and famous people are now able to directly access their fan base and cultivate a fan base independent of their platform, whatever that is. So if you're a movie actor, you can go on there and now you have direct access. And then, of course, like Instagram and everything is taking a lot of that now. But question I have for you about radio just in general. I know that like radio is just, it's kind of sketchy right now, in terms of from what we hear about the future of radio. Like, what is your take on the future of radio? What do you guys think is going to happen, say 10 years from now, like for people like you guys?
Well, I think it's like this. We talk about things in ways that we've already experienced them, but ultimately, whatever a radio program is, or this program, or anything, it's content. And
Yeah.
the mechanisms for content are constantly evolving. And so giant corporations that own the media platforms want to keep them a certain way because it's good for their business, right? But, you can't control the consumer. You can try to influence the consumer, but technology changes so fast. What people even 5 years younger than you, how they perceive things change so fast. Radio towers are more than likely going to become obsolete. I think they'll probably be more controlled by, special interest groups, political groups, religious groups, things like that, because it is still a good way to transmit information. But I think the larger media corporations are all just going to fold into streaming platforms. And just like when the newspapers were trying to figure out what the internet was going to do to their business, I think big corporations are trying to figure out the streaming model, and that's why like every 5 months there's a new merger and a new platform and a new. They're all trying to figure out the future as well. But at the core of it is content.
Yeah.
What do we get up and do every day? What do we put out, whether it's on the radio or on YouTube or on podcast with you guys or events at the brewery or whatever that is? Content creators will be in demand. Those platforms will constantly evolve. And 5 years from now, we may be talking about something that none of us have conceived yet.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is, well, actually, I know this is your favorite show you've ever been on.
Clearly.
So thank you for projecting that we have amazing content and
Yes.
guests on our show. Speaking of guests, I want to know, we've covered sports moment, favorite guest you've ever had, whether it's an athlete or not. Just out of curiosity. I mean, I think
they
it's
gave you some real gold, and you're in the middle of it, like, oh, I can't wait for this.
It's not
air.
even the person, the moment they gave you. Like, I would love to hear that.
Well, I
Besides this moment right now, obviously.
Yeah.
So we're number 2 and number
Factor
3.
that in.
Correct.
I feel like we're such Dirk homers that we're kind of lame. I feel like every answer could be Dirk, but he's just that special. But I'll give you a different one. The biggest guest we ever had on our show was President Bush.
Oh yeah.
And so
Huge fan of the show.
Yeah, a big baseball fan.
Yes,
Also,
massive
big
baseball fan.
NBCF fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
NBCF.
the
We
family's
got
loved us
ties
for a
in
very
with
long
the
time.
W in the library.
And this was when the library was coming around, and so he was jumping on our show to promote it.
Yeah.
And they gave us this list of things we couldn't talk about, and
How to address him. all
how to
that kind of
address him.
stuff.
He
Yeah.
actually painted this photo of Kevin behind me.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful
Hey, you
artist.
can't see that. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Good
go.
job, Dub.
So I handle everything a lot like I handle homework in school or school in general or tests. I started studying 10 minutes before.
Fair.
All right.
And so I'm like, okay, let me read over this criteria, like in the commercial break before he's on with us. And I was like, oh gosh, I got to ask him something interesting. So I text Eric Nadell, voice the Rangers. I was like, hey, what is something I could ask President Bush? And he starts telling me some story about him learning how to speak Spanish, and it had to do with dealing with Pudge and Juan and those guys back in the day. But I didn't absorb the story the right way.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous, and you can hear my voice cracking, and we're talking to W. And I said, President Bush, whatever. Is it true that you learned Spanish so that you could have better relationships with Pudge and Juan Gonzalez and those guys? And he said, no.
I mean, it was so aggressive
and
and curt and just like
That's how
one
he is.
word and then
Little
nothing
shut
else.
you
beady
down.
eyes were staring
And-
into your soul with this one-word answer.
He did not elaborate. It was just like, nope. And I was just left out there like stumbling, falling down. I was like, and then just to add insult to injury for me personally, he then got really interested in Skin. He goes, hey, Skin,
The
let me
worst.
ask you about your name. Where'd you get your name? He starts interviewing
Oh,
Skin.
yeah.
Stop.
And so I'm like,
Did you just slink off behind the potted plant?
I'll just be
Homer
in the
went back
hallway.
into the
It's
bushes.
been great. See you later. What a great show.
That's a funny one. I also, going back to Dirk, and this is actually coming up in a couple weeks. You mentioned the Heroes game that Dirk took over for Mike Modano. Well, Dirk grew up playing basketball, tennis and handball, and soccer. Those are his main sports, right? Baseball, he didn't probably even know existed till he moved here. So he also started doing a tennis event. And they get real, tennis players, legit tennis players, like Andy Roddick drives up from Austin and plays every year, and Isner and all these guys.
Yeah.
And then Steve Nash will come play, and then occasionally they'll get, actors. And one year they got Owen Wilson, who's from Dallas, right? And
Yeah.
we're
Wow.
we're all big fans of
Okay.
his. And so they were able to get Owen Wilson to come on the show. And one of my all-time, he loves it too, but their first movie, Bottle Rocket.
Oh, yeah.
Just love that movie. And he was
Applejack.
yeah.
Yes.
He was a pretty good interview, but the thing that was so great was we asked him, there's a real famous line in the movie where Dignan's just looking off into space and he goes, "On the run from Johnny Law. It ain't no trip to Cleveland." And it's just like the dumbest thing to say, and it really is truly meaningless. Yeah. And so we asked him where that came from, and he said he almost took it word for word from an old episode of Miami Vice that he watched. And I was like,
kidding.
This is amazing.
Right? What a nugget.
What
just
a nugget.
Some throwaway thing like that you dug that out. And that's probably on IMDb in the trivia section.
It probably is,
that's
man. But
so
you know,
cool.
I remember thinking, that's amazing. You guys, because we're the same age. You guys grew up with Miami Vice being on, I guess, CBS, whatever.
Popping the collar.
I'm much younger than all of you, but I will Google that later. I'm still trying to figure out what an encyclopedia is.
I got a little Owen Wilson anecdote I want to tack on. He's from this area, of course, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and along with Luke, his brother. And anyway, I was with my parents, my brother, and we're adults at this point. I'm 30 or whatever. So this was maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we were at this hotel in Santa Monica, the Fairmont Hotel. We're in the lobby and we're just kind of eating, like a little snack or whatever. And Owen comes walking in with this lady, this blonde lady. And we didn't know who she was, but he comes walking in and I'll go, "Oh my gosh, it's Owen Wilson." And I mean, huge fans. My brother and I were big fans of him. And so I'm telling, my dad's like, "Owen Wilson, the actor?" I go, yeah. And my dad's one of those guys where he's like, he can go meet anybody. He's fearless and stuff.
He has been,
Yeah, and exactly. So you could connect with anybody. So we're just talking about, we can't believe, well, they'd gone behind us and went out on the patio. So a few minutes later, Owen comes walking back by our table and goes towards the men's bathroom. My dad sees it and he stands up and I go, "Dad, don't go in there and stalk him in there or whatever." And he's like gone already. So about 3 or 4 minutes go by and my brother and I are like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And the two of them come out the door like World War II buddies, arm in arm, laughing. I kid you not.
Great.
And they're walking up and Dad's like, "Come meet my friend Owen Wilson." And I'm like, "What?" And so we get up and we go over and we're talking to him for a minute. And he's like, "Wow, your dad's really a great guy," And that's can we cut that out?
No,
Jordan,
that was good.
it's a worse
Yeah,
impression.
really.
I was counting on wow because that's it. That's all I got.
The Dump Diaries.
So anyway, the Owen is standing there. We're talking to him or whatever, and he's like, "So you guys want a picture or something like that?" He's like trying to wrap it up. And this girl comes in off the patio that had been with him. And she's like going, "What the heck?" And so we hand the phone to her and we're like kind of like doing that thing because we're starstruck where we're ignoring her a little bit, not meaning to. And she goes, "Okay." And so she's like getting the picture. She's trying to speed us along. It ends up being Dara Torres, who was one of the women's gold medalist swimmer, like one of the all-time greatest U.S. Olympians.
The one
and
that
we're
like got
treating her
stung by the
like
jellyfish was in there for days. Not her.
I don't know, but that's a story I want to follow up on.
I feel like it was.
But
I feel like that's who
Dara
that is.
Torres, so we're just telling her what to do, whatever. Anyway, so the two of them, I don't know why they were hanging out to this day, but anyway, that's crazy. So I have that picture. You know what? I'll put it up on the screen.
You should.
Guys.
You
It's
should.
an episode where we're going to put in the elbow grease.
We do a really good job of listening to our audience, and we always say, okay, if you had the opportunity to sit down with these guys like 2011 me, hope that I would, what would you want to know? And really the biggest, like if you go back and you look at the comments, the number one thing everybody wants to know is like, what are you doing now? Like, I feel like you've been in the news lately. So what's happening right now for you guys in the show?
Right now, we're doing this podcast. You mean like beyond this exact
The
moment?
Ben and Skin Show, a subsidy
First of all,
Hope
where's the
Ignited.
Ben and Skin show?
Yeah.
3 to 6, 97.1, The Eagle.
Okay.
The Eagle.
Yes.
Love it.
And that's, the Eagle had flipped to an old talk station.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we originally went to the Eagle and we were on before Russ Martin, before they did the flip. So when they flipped back, they kept us.
Yeah.
And we had worked for
Obviously.
them. They had worked for them, but we'd worked for them before. So we're doing that. And then, much like what's going on here, we're going to ramp up the Ben and Skin YouTube channel.
We're so psyched. I think it's so great. I mean, the cool thing is the other thing that you would see in those comments is they're like, they could go anywhere and we'd follow them. This is such a great moment.
You got
And-
your crew.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
awesome.
your followers. And then we're going to get into a really fun venture that we're kind of doing together. A lot of people were trying to connect the dots, and we've kind of previewed this to our Guys for Good. So a part of National Breast Cancer Foundation, which is, of course, a big power behind Hope Ignited is that we're able to bring men in that have been impacted by breast cancer. NBCF is super proud to navigate the entire family, not just the female when she's diagnosed. And these men are kind of like, hey, what about me? You know, I'm going through it too. I need an out. And so we joined together for an event called Guys for Good, our annual casino night. It was incredible. And a big part of that night was bringing in Rollertown Beer. So I want to dive into that specifically for you guys, and then we're going to bring on a couple of additional guests. But why Rollertown for you guys specifically? That's what I want to know.
Go ahead.
Well, I think it ties back to, you know, we're on the radio now, and listeners are asking you, hey, where'd they go? Where are they? The way the radio business is set up is to where if you leave a radio station, and we've worked at several radio stations, we've never been fired. We've always chosen to leave, and we've read the landscape. And so when you leave a radio station, you have to sit out a non-compete. Listeners get adjusted to a new show, and then by the time, you know, they're furious at first, and then 90 days later, they're like, all right, this is my new routine. And so that factors into this. We've been bounced around in our business a little bit, but our specialty in our business is growing brands and partnerships. And so we have a bunch of loyal advertisers that we have a lot of success with, and they've stayed loyal to us over the years. But so all of those things factor into this idea that, you know, we don't own these radio stations, and we don't own these companies. And so we're helping grow brands that we don't own. And so we were looking for an opportunity that could be something that was our own. But we knew we couldn't have a dry cleaners one week and then a pizza restaurant. And then, you know, and so we were looking for just the right opportunity for something we could own and a brand we could grow ourselves. And I was at my son's youth baseball game in Salina, and one of the dads said, hey, we just bought a building that would be great for a brewery. And it just clicked, because Skin is incredibly knowledgeable about beer, craft beer, local breweries everywhere. Like, he'll go on vacations and specifically stop at multiple breweries when he's there. And so a bell just went off, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, would you mind if we put together a business plan for you? And so I went and told Skin. I was like, oh my God, these guys want to do a brewery. Do you think that could be the business we would do? And then we were like, what's a business plan? No, we then needed
Google business.
Yeah, right.
And so we then convinced my brother Jonathan to come on board, and he's the brains and heartbeat of the whole operation, as you guys know. And so then we had business legitimacy. We went and invited a bunch of different friends that we had covered over our 20 plus years of doing sports talk radio. So athletes like Dirk and Michael Young and Travis Frederick and John Daniels, a GM, and then all the guys from Dude Perfect. We make songs for Dude Perfect. And so we asked a bunch of friends to invest and be a part of our business with us. And we were amazingly honored that they chose to.
Yeah.
And so this just came to be out of us looking for something that could be our own and another way to connect with listeners. And it just ended up being something that Skin is very knowledgeable about, and it just ended up being kind of a perfect fit. That's kind of how we ended up.
It's a really good fit because it's communal. Like, breweries are communal. You'll notice a lot of these cities are looking to have an anchor brewery in their city, right? But that's also kind of what again, you go back to this thing about, you know, being strategic and being intentional, and then also just kind of like doing what you care about. And suddenly you look up and go, oh yeah, we were doing that because we cared about it. And now 10 years later, this is great. Doing things that connect with the audience. You know, we didn't study radio broadcasting. Like, I was in the radio, TV, film department in North Texas. I was studying film. I could have walked next door and taken radio classes. I didn't. I never thought we would be in radio. Yeah. We ended up there. But the point of all that is that because we were fans, right, and kind of ended up on the other side of that, we feel connected to people that listen and people that want to be a part of that. And that's why, you know, you mentioned those nice things people said in the comment section. We found that when we leave, a lot of times people will come with us and they will care. Yeah. And so, you know, the brewery is an extension of that. Now, the brewery exists in all these other different facets as well, but that's the Ben and Skin connection to the brewery. Is it is a meeting place for, you know, the things that we're about, like good times, connecting with people, sports, good music, all those things that are a part of like whatever a little Ben and Skin community would be. The brewery is a big part of that, but because of the people that are involved, the brewery is also its entirely other different entity. And you should tell them what the name Rollertown means, but that was trying to find connectivity between what the brewery would be as well as what the Ben and Skin show is about.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this might be a good moment to bring our other guests
Yeah,
on as
can we
well.
bring the-
so we're
the
gonna do a
brains
little
and the
magic
heart?
Hollywood editing here and not make you see all this. Do the fingers. That's the editing.
Yeah. We are back with the Sons of Soul and the
Nice.
And that took 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
sure did take 2 weeks. So to be a
kids
bearded
graduated.
lady, you must have shaved before you got here. Guys,
Yeah, what
we're
is
so
that?
we're so psyched.
What is that?
to-
Now, we got to hear that.
Jennifer and Jonathan, Jonathan and
And
Jennifer.
then, and then
What's
we're
up?
going to go back to the Rollertown name. I do want to get.
Yes.
We do need to go back to
we
that.
got to get this
Absolutely.
bearded
we
lady
want to talk
thing
about
out of
your
the way
facial
first.
hair first.
Okay, well, I mean, I have had like a son, so sometimes I do
I
have to
feel that.
get it,
It's
right?
hormonal, yeah.
So it is the bearded lady, like BEERDED.
See that?
It's important.
Do you feel
I don't know
like
if
people
you
look
can-
at you real close? Do people like come up to you and like
You
look
See that?
for like
It's
face,
hops.
like,
She has
Yeah, I have
a tattoo of hops.
But
She's
brand
all in on it.
ambassador,
Yes.
like arguably one of my very favorite brews. Like it's so sick, it's so good. But
Thank you
I'm
so much.
so anxious to know how you got lost amongst these boys
Oh,
and ended up
gosh.
here.
That's a really
What
good
a
question.
Yeah.
Well, I did meet Skin a while back because we shared the beer love, and we met at Hop Fusion. Yeah.
Ooh. Is that
and
like
I
a
was-
yoga class in 99-degree heat?
Ooh.
No.
It's not. It's
That's
a
what I thought. I
brewery.
thought it was a
in
yoga.
Fort
Okay.
Worth. Yeah.
Yoga
Really
beer.
great beer, but
Our third favorite brewery, probably. if
what's
that,
your
yeah.
first two?
And wouldn't you love to know? But so y'all met, and then he found out you love beer, and here you are.
Yeah, pretty much. Tommy, the brewer, was talking about some need for some sales. I'm the sales girl for Rollertown. And I've been kind of in the industry for a while as Jennifer, the bearded lady. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to throw this in right quick.
Yeah.
When I found out that Jennifer was going to work for us, I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? Like, I was very excited about that because, we were talking earlier about the communal aspect of breweries and such. People that are into that scene know one another.
Yeah.
And so through those travels, I had already known Jennifer and I followed her on Instagram and was a big fan of hers, thought she was really cool.
Yeah.
And so when I found out she was going to work for us, I thought that is effing excellent.
Right?
Like, we have really lucked out
Did it
there.
make you feel like this is really happening? Was it one of those kind of things?
No, I think it just augmented all the things that we were already doing. I think it just made us better. And
Yeah.
to your point, what I want to say is not knowing what her skill set would be, just knowing her as a person, she's still growing into that role and has already exceeded what I thought she could do for us, which is really cool.
That's amazing.
And
It was like
I'm not-
influencers
Congratulations.
before influencers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
to me, that's the coolest thing is like people loved you and followed you, and now they're
Yeah.
falling in love with this brand because they just trust it. It's the same thing as you guys. It's your following.
Absolutely.
Building a community.
Do you talk about me like this?
all the time. Yeah, everyone. Ashley, everybody in anywhere in
Well, wait.
Texas knows who she is, and especially in Louisiana, they all know who you are
'Cause we're
You're
related. I'm
you go
related
back
to
and they
all
throw
of them.
ticker tape parades in Louisiana for you.
That's true.
Throw
That's
gator
true.
tails and stuff. Okay, the other fine gentleman that we have here, emphasis on fine,
Thank
is
you.
Jonathan
Thank you for
Rogers, who's the CEO of Rollertown Beerworks.
Thank you for having us.
Sitting right next to your brother. That's
right.
Which one's older?
It's obvious.
Yeah.
The gray gives it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't know that we're brothers because I have a different name. I go by a different name.
Yeah.
I go by Rogers. But
Right.
little known
Yeah.
fact, they started doing a radio show at a sports bar in Dallas. It was like, the late 90s, early 2000s at Wizards Sports Bar.
Oh, wow.
And so I would come in and they let me get on the show a little bit. But I would have to sit far away from him because I kind of look like him and I kind of sound like him.
Yeah.
So they pushed me far away from him. And I had to go
corner.
by a fake radio name because I said some very edgy things.
What was your?
Wait,
what
what
was
I
was
your
can't
name?
say it. I can't say it.
No, we need to know.
It's the mysterious Quan Lee.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because Quan Lee was a character from the show Night Court.
Oh yeah.
And I love Night Court. Watched it with my parents all the time.
And just like that, we're
Shannon.
changing your lower third. This
That's
is
it.
great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Sorry, you can't
So-
escape your past.
Yeah. So
Mystery.
that was a lot of fun. Thanks for letting
Okay,
me do
tell
that.
us about
Can I
the
tell you
origin.
something? Can I tell you something though,
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah.
I want to tell you my favorite story about Quan Lee, my brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So in our family, we use humor. Our dad was a joke teller. Like if you bring up microphones, well, he's got 10 microphone jokes. You bring up cameras, he's got 10 camera jokes. He was just one of those old school joke tellers. Could crack the ice at any situation or whatever. And so we use humor probably to deal with everything. And so in 2005, our dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He died 28 days after diagnosis. 28 days. And the way that it went was it was happening so fast. We wanted our mom to be able to go sleep at home, but every night we wanted someone to stay at the hospital with dad. And so we have another brother as well, Tony, our older brother. I'm the middle, he's youngest. And we would alternate nights whose night it was their responsibility to stay in dad's room. Mom and everybody else would go home. And so one person slept uncomfortably to be there with dad. Everyone else went and got rest. And we alternated his night, my night, Tony, him, me, Tony. And we'd alternate over those 28 days. And on the day that our dad passed, it was super early, like 6:30 in the morning. And he was on hospice. So they knew he was going to pass. And so I promise this story gets better. When he started to pass, there was no one rushing in to save him because they were trying to make him comfortable as he left. But it was clear something was happening. And I'm running in the hallway going, help, help. And then they come in and they're not really helping because that's not what, anyways. They said, you need to call your family. It's happening right now. And so I'm calling Jonathan, Tony, our mom saying, hey, guys, get up here, get up here. They think he's about to pass. And so when he passed, I was holding his hand by myself. And I was just bawling, obviously. And everyone got there and they rushed in. And everyone went right to my dad's bedside and everybody's devastated. This dude comes straight to me. And I'm bawling. And he says the only thing that could ever get me to stop crying. Like when you really know someone and you know what to do, and it's the best thing anyone's ever told me. So he gives me a hug and he whispers in my ear, never would have happened on my watch.
Stop it. Stop it.
And
Man, that's a brother for you, right?
That's a brother,
there.
right? And it's like
just throw the stick in the spokes of your emotional moment.
But it's like the only thing. I was so grateful for that. It's the best thing anyone's ever told me, and you would have to know our family to understand that. But it was the perfect thing to say.
And your dad would have loved it.
He would have
Seriously.
loved it.
Well, he
that's the
did
thing.
love
I can
it,
relate.
right? Like,
Same thing. We were joking till the end with my dad.
Same.
You
Me
have
too.
to. But
Me too.
when he tells that story, he leaves out the most important part, which is that was my night, and he stayed because he knew.
You guys.
Yeah.
Wow, y'all, that is See, we're bringing brothers together. Get a wide shot of the brothers. This might be the
It's gonna
first
have to
time
make
they've
this
hugged.
very
in-
wide for me. The first time that they've hugged.
Ever.
Say they haven't talked.
Ever. Yeah, right.
They were estranged from that moment. That's what he didn't
We
say.
live like a block away from each other.
I'll never forget what you said that one night when Dad died. Okay, so it's third time, right? It's like pulling the lawnmower cord on this. My bad, because I'm the one distracting. But Rollertown, how did you get the name?
Yeah.
So the three of us, myself, Jonathan, and Skin, and Jonathan has a rich background in marketing and branding. He's incredibly well respected in that space, and he's worked at several different big companies. But he started a boutique agency with his wife. They went out on their own to do their own thing, and so he said, "Hey, look, we're going to come up with a name. I've got a dry erase board. I've got this conference room. Let's have some beers and pizza. Let's get together." And we spent hours just with him kind of schooling us on how brands come to be. And ultimately, where we got in that exercise is we realized we didn't want to call it the Ben and Skin Brewery. That's not what it is. But it's directly tied into our pursuit of our dreams and the belief that, hey, the life that is most worth living is the one in which you take your shot and you try to pursue your biggest dreams. That's what we've done with radio. That's what we've always done. And so we wanted to find a parallel between the Ben and Skin show and this region, Salina, Prosper, Frisco. And what we found was in the early 1900s, when the Frisco Railway came through here, very much like Lightning McQueen and Mater and the interstate, they didn't weave it over to every small town. They just said the railway is going here, the train tracks are going here. And so all these towns were like, these small Texas towns were like, oh my God, our town's going to die. And so the most resilient towns, we did this research, we found that they put their buildings on rollers and they used steam engines to drag and roll their buildings miles to get to the railroad. So they relocated the towns. They rolled the towns. And we look at that as a metaphor for all of us. It perfectly ties into our radio show, and it really ties into all of us. The life you want is over there. It's not just going to come knock on your door and say, I'm here. Here are your wildest dreams. You have to be willing to get outside your comfort zone. You have to be willing to be mobile to chase those opportunities. They're there, but you got to be willing to work your butt off to go get them. And so the idea that this region rolled the town to survive, it embodied the spirit of our career. And we thought, let's call it Rollertown, and let's make it about everyone. Let's make it about, that's why when you see our merch around, you see people wearing our hats. Yeah. It's about more than beer. It's about a lifestyle. It's about a belief that anything is possible. If you work really hard, you can chase all your dreams. And that's why we called it Rollertown.
That's exactly what Ben Stiller said. That's what I heard him say when he put your hat
right.
on. He was like, let me tell you why I wear this hat.
That's why he wears it.
Give me a mic. That's
exactly
so
right.
good.
We're joking, but we're not joking. Ben Stiller did famously wear the Rollertown hat.
Throw up the
what
pick.
happened on that?
Throw the pick up.
Throw the pick up. God, we're creating a lot of work for ourselves after this. I was hoping to be just done with it, you know. Okay, so no, for real though, Ben, you got some celebrities, I guess. Obviously the fact that Dirk, and there's some really big celebrities that are in your stable, like that are owners. How did Ben Stiller get your hat? What happened on that?
You want me to say this one? So Ben Stiller, so Dirk has his Dirk Nowitzki Foundation Tennis Classic. He had it last year at SMU and invited some of the folks that Skin mentioned before, and then he invited Ben Stiller. He's Ben Stiller loves Dirk. And so,
who doesn't?
Right?
Yeah.
It was actually pretty interesting to show up there. People were bringing dodgeballs to have Ben Stiller sign them. I was like, wow, that's pretty
or
amazing.
A wrench, maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball. But so those were in the gift packs. We had a bunch of Rollertown there.
So cool.
And he had it, and all of a sudden we started seeing it show up, like Skin's championship picture just started showing up everywhere.
It's amazing.
It was cool that he wore it to a specific thing.
Right.
He wore it to him and his wife, and I think it was his ex-wife, but it was a story because they took their daughters to Taylor Swift.
Right.
So it suddenly started ending up on all the platforms, and we didn't know that this was going to happen. So now he's wearing a hat on all these things, and people are sending it to us on social media. And then
great.
Ben had actually, someone had said online, oh, that's AI or that's a fake or Photoshop or whatever. And so Ben had tagged Ben Stiller, and Ben Stiller responded with, I love this hat, and had like a picture of it.
Took another
So
picture of it.
wonderful. Yeah. It's amazing how Taylor Swift unites all of us. The same thing happened to us with Kristen Juszczyk.
Taylor Swift's wearing the hat now,
Yeah,
right? We can't prove that one though,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm sure
One
she
day.
owns the hat. She's going to
One
look
day.
good in the pink version of that
Yeah.
Rollertown hat.
Right.
That's all I know.
Absolutely.
Okay, so pink hat. Well, what does that mean? Why would they do a pink hat?
Full circle. I like that. I like how you teed that up there. We, again, talked about Guys for Good. We were so honored that we had you guys. We wanted it to be a soft launch of this partnership. And to my understanding, the first of its kind. I mean, you guys are the experts in brand ambassadors and just bringing, brands to life. But my question to you is, why NBCF, Jonathan? I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Well, for a number of reasons. But first of all, Ben mentioned we have a lot of history as a family. Skin, everybody, cancer touches everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So we've met through some Chamber of Commerce things.
Yeah.
And then when I started learning more about NBCF, came and took the tour, it was really impactful for me, and very emotional. Yeah. And then saw some folks in the building that we knew from the Frisco area, including a former city council person, somebody that we are very close with, his wife.
Yeah, it's a God wink.
It's really amazing. So I just think it's like everything that we do. It's we want to be associated with great people and great things. And so for us, it was an absolute no-brainer to want to do something with you guys to help.
Heck yeah. And I mean, it just so happens that you're moving to the greatest city in the United States of America, probably the world, let's be honest, Frisco, Texas.
Right.
And that's where we're headquartered, right? We all
exactly
choose
right.
to have a piece of the Frisco pie. And it's a really cool thing that, you're launching this brand here. People have been your fans for a long time, but we're super excited to steal you guys. And it just makes sense, right? What a way to enrich the city that we live, work, and play in, and to be able to offer hope via a different medium to people when they need it most. Hope via hops, we'll call it that.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, coin that. Somebody trademark that before
We're all
Taylor
about
Swift
community
uses it.
too. I mean, that's a big deal. We do a lot of volunteer events. Like we pack hope kits. They're really amazing boxes with items that we give to women who are just diagnosed with breast cancer. So lotions and socks and things that would mean a lot to a cancer patient. And so we do a lot. We bring the community together. And I think, to your point, it's very natural collaboration. It's really fun.
One of the things that really struck me and us was that you're doing it on the walk. And as somebody goes through this journey, we lost our mom now a couple of years ago. But so we've lived through that twice. And navigating that journey, it's very complicated. It's like you don't know what to do. You don't know what the right answer is, and the stakes are so high. You need an ally there. And the fact that you guys have navigators, that you have the Hope Kits for people, and that you're there on their journey is nobody does that. It's amazing. It's a really meaningful thing.
Tangible expression of hope. And I mean, NBCF genuinely believes that no one should navigate breast cancer alone. And so, I mean, kudos to you guys for believing in that vision and wanting to be a part of what we're doing. Hope Squad will be launching in September. The name is so sick. We are so excited about it. I think you guys have nailed the logo. We'll have to show the cans now.
Throw it up.
On just like
More work.
somebody said to me, as a very manly dude, which meant they weren't because they said that, I would
They
hold
had
that.
a beard then.
Yeah,
In other
exactly.
words,
Well,
can't grow.
things that you can't relate to, but
Yeah.
like I would hold that can with that shade of pink and that logo and still feel like a dude. And I was like, well, that's what we were going
there you
for,
go.
obviously.
Okay, so what? Just we may have missed the lead here, buried the lead. We're launching this new beer, a new brew, and it's called Hope Squad, and it's a hibiscus vanilla IPA. Right. And by the way,
is.
we had a little debate earlier because she said hibiscus.
Ooh.
And I said hibiscus, right? I mean,
Hibiscus.
am I crazy? It's hibiscus?
She's
I think
Southern.
This is a
yeah,
Louisiana
right.
thing.
If you need
Yeah.
subtitles to say it, it's right.
I say hibiscus.
You say hibiscus.
In the
I'll
name
go
of the
with
Lord,
hibiscus.
it's
It's like
hibiscus.
pecan or pecan.
Oh,
I don't talk about that.
Pecan.
That's
guy.
Hibiscus.
Not
It's
anymore.
hibiscus.
No.
Hibiscus. I say
Hibiscus.
hibiscus.
I say
too.
hibiscus.
Yeah.
Hibiscus. Hibiscus.
Her-
I say
Well, now I
hibiscus.
sound like really, kind of hibiscus.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to drink with my
Right.
Drink with
finger.
your
right?
big
Well,
like
is
when you
it-
can't.
Biscuit.
Is it Detroit or is it Detroit?
Yeah.
Detroit.
Fair.
Detroit.
Both.
Let's see what you're doing.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
so.
Do you? How do you eat your crawfish? Do you pinch or pinch?
Pinch.
Oh,
Yeah.
pinch.
Pinch.
See?
I
You
want
say
to.
pinch.
I want to say this too. It would be remiss not to say this. Everything Jonathan just said about helping people during the walk resonates with us. I want to say this for Skin. So I have watched Skin battle cancer, and I did not respect him before that at all.
No.
But now, no, I'm just saying what I witnessed him do and still do. It's, we work together on, multiple businesses now. We're partners in a lot of things. And so he's on his phone constantly talking to doctors, setting up appointments, dealing with insurance companies and all those things. And the way he has battled cancer is the most impressive thing I've ever seen one of my friends go through ever. And so to have him involved in this means a lot. And I hope he gets the opportunity to touch, visit, and be a part of that walk for other people, because I can't imagine anybody doing it any better than what he's done.
Oh, that's so special.
Yeah.
I know. Is your Botox keeping you from crying right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm just struck by how many unimpressive friends Ben has.
So you're saying there's a chance? Yeah.
Pretty narrow little path there of friends to choose from. It's, I think people watching this, and as Jonathan mentioned, I think everyone in the world has some either direct or tangential connection to cancer, right? And there was a really, really good nonprofit in town. They don't operate anymore, but it was called 1 Million for Anna. And they were dealing specifically with Ewing sarcoma, which almost always affects, teenagers and kids, right? And that's it's all tough, but
Yeah.
that's the toughest.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
We all love
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Seriously, for us, can I tell you something that's so cool about this? This is so much bigger than followers. It's so much bigger than a brand. What we're able to do together because of you guys is we're going to help more women and families when they need it most.
Yeah.
And that's those kids too, right? Everybody's impacted by this.
Yeah.
But also kudos to you guys for pulling back the curtain and showing this level of vulnerability. Like we're bringing levity to the situation because it's our job together to bring hope to women. But I just want you to know, like this real, like this vulnerability, this is what matters.
Yeah. The other thing too is, I mean, we're in this world all the time because of, it's this is what we do. Ashley and I and our team at NBCF. But we feel those emotions too all the time, and certainly what makes it better is going through it together. And I think the thing that I've realized, I'm 47 now, but the thing I've realized at some point in this working here at NBCF is that real life is really messy and crazy and unpredictable, and you can embrace that and not be scared of it. And it's just, there's always a new challenge, right? As soon as you think everything is clipping along and everything's good, then you get a cancer diagnosis or something happens with business or whatever. And what gets you through that? Your people. Right, your tribe, your
Hope
community,
Squad.
your squad, which is why we called it Hope Squad. Having each other is what gets us through that. So I think that I love the parallels we've got, with our organization, with you guys, and what you're doing. You're scrappy and entrepreneurial and fun, but excellent. And I think that the community and the heart behind all that is what is going to make our brands really enjoy working together. And one other thing I want to talk about, because we talk about the future for your organization, we got this thing coming up in September, but there's a really big event that's going to be happening, or I should say a big thing happening next summer. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What's happening up there?
Yeah, so Rollertown Beerworks, we're moving our galactic headquarters, Ben's words, to downtown Frisco.
In the name of the Lord.
The Emperor and Darth Vader approved.
We're moving to downtown Frisco. We're under construction now, right on Main Street, just down from Toyota Stadium, between the railroad and Toyota Stadium, where those big white silos are.
Find me at the silos.
Which is right down the street from where we're sitting right now. So the fact that we're neighbors is awesome. And that's another reason why we want to, this is year one of something that's going to hopefully last for a really long time.
You're building this unbelievable facility, and it's like I think this, maybe if I could say the signature of it is that lawn out there with the stage, so you can bring the community together.
We can put our
really
children in there and
that.
just let them run crazy.
That's right.
And dogs and everything.
What's got to christen that stage is the Sons of Soul.
Sons
absolutely.
of Soul, a windowless limo. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential.
You hit it. And so it kind of goes back to what Ben and Skin were saying earlier. It's all about community and being communal. So we're building this, we're partners with the city of Frisco in this. We're building this for the community. It's for families. It's for dogs. It's for kids to run around safely. It's a place for us to connect and commune. And it's a place for them to hang out with their listeners. And the cool thing about Rollertown is that you just never know who's going to be in there when you go in there. There will be some world famous hip hop person or some world famous athlete that these guys have brought in that is just there.
Yeah.
And so I think when we get down a little bit closer, when we get down to Frisco, it's a little bit more accessible. Goodness knows what's going to happen in Rollertown and Frisco.
People that know Frisco are like accessible in Frisco. Okay, Jonathan, but we're close. We're getting close. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's speaking of that, I know the Dude Perfect guys, but I run into them every once in a while at the gym or whatever, random thing. One time I saw Cody, the tall one, if you guys know Dude Perfect. He was at the grocery store during I don't know if it was a pandemic or something. No, it was during a storm, crazy snowstorm we had. So everyone was like packed in the house. Well, anyway, my truck, for whatever reason, the 4-wheel drive, I was so excited about having 4-wheel drives. The one time in Frisco, you can use it, right? Because otherwise you're just driving around on concrete streets all the time. And so I'm like, yes, I get to use it. Well, I got stuck on the hill. For some reason it malfunctioned. My new truck. I'm like, what? So I'm stuck on this hill trying to get up the hill and I can't go. And
definitely not a user operator.
And I show up, it's probably me. I show up at Market Street and I'm walking through there and all of a sudden I see Dude Perfect Cody there. And I'm like, what? Hey, and we knew each other. I was like, what's up? What are you doing? He goes, getting some food and all that. And he said, I said something like, yeah, man, I almost didn't even get here. I couldn't even get up the hill. And he goes, was that you on the hill? And he said, I saw you. And I go, wait, you saw me, you didn't render aid. You scumbag. So anyway, the moral of the story is Dude Perfect are scumbags. They're not going to help you if you're stuck on a hill.
Yeah, that's great.
And anyway, no, I love those guys. But so Dude Perfect, okay, keep on.
Yeah, and there's a couple guys that I didn't mention. We're so proud of all of our partners, but there's a couple guys that live here that are extraordinary human beings that if you guys haven't had them on your show already, you absolutely should. One is Tori Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
We love Tori.
So Tori is an investor in Rollertown. He's one of our partners. And of course, he has Tender Smokehouse. And he's one of the most incredible dudes I've ever met ever. So I'm remiss not to mention him. And then he introduced us to Matt Kemp. And Matt Kemp, who was, one of the greatest Dodgers of all time. He lives here now, and they're good friends, and they're partners in Tender and as well. And those guys are phenomenal human beings. And, it really struck when Jonathan said, you'll go up to Rollertown and you'll like, Tori is there a lot, and it's so great. And he's not there to go crush beers. He's there because he likes to be a part of this community.
And the free Wi-Fi.
And it's free Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's
Blazing.
Yes, absolutely. And, but I think you guys would be blown away. I mean, it sounds like you already know him.
Yeah, so Tori was one of our very first guys for good. The really cool thing about that, again, somebody who's been impacted by breast cancer. But just the thing I love about him is that he has a vision. Like, it reminds me a lot of you, Jonathan. Like, he can see things before we see things in a lot of ways. And that first year, he was like, this is going to be bigger than you even think, And so we hated that he didn't get to join us this year. But, they were out of the country. He'll be back next year. But, it reminds me, it's just... to me, Rollertown it's like the Bible says, like a church is not a brick and mortar. It's a place where people gather. And we look forward to being a really big part of that mission because I do genuinely believe it's the best beer. Get that on record. Like
Nice.
I will go on record saying that. But I do think it's the best, but I think it's the mission behind it. I think it's the people behind it that makes us so excited to be a part of it. And we do have the event in September. So I want to plug it. So a lot of what we're here to talk about today is the event September the 21st in Salina. We'll call that Tap House 2, our second favorite place to meet whenever Frisco opens. But we're going to launch the Hope Squad beer. It's going to be a great event. We'll be there in the morning doing some closed door stuff, but really 5 to 10 is what we want to plug. So live music. We're going to have food trucks. We're going to have a comedian that
Coldplay
starts.
coming in, right?
I heard Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift will be there.
Play. It's COAL play. Some guys from Pennsylvania.
So
One of our investors is Chris Martin.
there you go. See?
That's
He's
true.
a different Chris
the
Martin.
other Chris Martin. Nobody needs to know that.
John
Great
Smith
guy.
is one of our investors.
Taylor Swift will be there on September the 21st. I heard allegedly.
It's supposedly
Allegedly, but it's going to be a great event. We want it to. It's a family-friendly event. There's going to be a pink foam party.
Yeah.
Bring me back to LSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah, classy though. Clothes on, pink foam party for the children. But it's going to be amazing. We've got Melody of Hope involved. We've got a bunch of local vendors that'll be there. It's just going to be a great time. And what we really want you guys to know is it's so much bigger than an event. We are launching this partnership, this brand where you genuinely will come out and have an opportunity to help women and families when they need it most. We've got sick merch. I mean, you want to talk about blending
You're not allowed
two
to say
brands.
sick over 30,
I'm sorry.
I think.
Well,
Whatever
it's a
she
good thing
can.
I'm under 30.
I'm kidding.
She's got all the riz. She
said
can do
all
whatever
the
she
time.
wants.
Yeah.
She's 29. I
That
don't know
was a
what to do.
Sigma move right there.
Clip that
I have
for
a
you
teenage
two.
son, so I can go all day with you.
Sigma
Let's go.
move. I don't know what that means. I like it.
It was very sus. Still have
Sus, yeah.
But anyways,
Ken's good at the
we will put the graphic up for you guys so that you have a reminder. But make sure you come out September the 21st. We'll see you guys in Salina around 5 o'clock. And again, from the bottom of our hearts, you guys, you will never understand what it means to do this with you. We're very blessed at NBCF to have a lot of partnerships, but it doesn't always hit home like this. And I just think that y'all are the best of the best. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention Crystal, who did not join us on
Absolutely.
camera today. But you want to talk about the beauty and the brains. Crystal, I heard she's naming her baby Ashley. I'm so honored by
Incubating a
that.
baby.
Yeah, we love you so much. Thank you for
Are you
everything
going to
that
name your
you've done.
baby Hops or something like that?
Barley.
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 Barley's
Barley's
kind of cool. That's a good dog name
Next
too, though.
kid.
Actually,
Tory
next
I like
kid,
Tory Dirk.
next tattoo, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
here
go
for
together
that.
and get it.
I like it. Barley.
Do you
All
care
right,
if I talk about the beer real quick? I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, please do. That might be
go
important.
for it. That's perfect.
I wanted to bring up some nerdiness about the
that's
beer.
perfect.
Yeah.
So it is a vanilla hibiscus IPA or hibiscus. Oh man, now I'm
Yeah, see, we're all screwed up. now. Keep it-
Complex.
We'll roll with whatever
It's a
feels good to you.
complex.
hibiscus IPA.
You
It
chose
will
wrong.
have like a pink hue as well, and most of our IPAs are very, very approachable. I have worked with Tommy to well, he makes it anyways for women. You love Juice Serum. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've had it.
Yeah, it's
so all
wonderful.
of the beers that Tommy makes, especially IPAs, are super approachable for women too. So it's one of those things that the guys are going to enjoy it and hold the can and everything, but the ladies will love the taste.
Yeah.
You say it's like a gateway IPA. Juice Serum is.
I stole that from Jonathan.
I
Actually.
like it.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
thought it was a skin
I'm
token.
sure I
That is
thought I
so
stole that from
funny.
Jennifer. I don't know.
Oh, it was all me. It was all
Now
me.
we know.
But yeah, no, the beer is going to be delicious. And I've had, I tried some of the hibiscus already. So it's going to be a little tart.
Yeah.
I thought your breath smelled good today. That's hibiscus
Thank
breath.
you.
I like it. I like
It's
it.
shout-
Shout out
really
to
delicious.
shout out to Tommy,
Yeah.
Rollertown Tommy Miller.
Tommy.
The best.
He is
He's
the
the brains.
You
That's
can't
a
go
good
wrong with the Miller.
brewmaster
Those
name,
Millers
isn't
are
it?
Yeah.
good people.
Yeah. Tommy, the brewmaster. Tommy
Oh,
used to work in the docks.
I like
Yeah,
it.
it'll
I
be
like it.
sweet and approachable
Get that?
and
Yep. Okay.
light.
Well, if nothing else with this team, you guys know that it can't be beat. And I know that we've got a wrap, but I just want to say again, thank you for your time.
Thank
We
you.
can't wait to see you guys in September. We
Yeah.
look forward to seeing everybody there. Family friendly event. Again, September the 21st at the Tap Room in Salina from 5 until 10. We'll see you guys there. And
Thanks
keep an
everyone
eye
for watching
out
today,
for
bearing
him.
with us. We have a lot of work to do. I got to go find about 85 photos to insert into it. So this
That's a
will be
lot
a
of
masterpiece.
pictures.
once and
Wow.
done.
We love
Thank
you
you guys.
guys.
Wow.
Appreciate it. Give it up
Wow.
for,
Yeah.
give it up for our crew
Well,
here.
yeah. We'll
All
see
right.
you guys
Thank you,
next
guys.
time
See you
on
guys
Hope
soon.
Ignited.